Krampus is in
Nah.
things now, and so the way he makes them learn to care and appreciate each other is for them to be taken away.
Should I?
Sacrificed.
Should I? I don't know, man. Bro, but I am so mad.
As a reminder for what happens when the Christmas spirit dies.
I am legitimately so mad. There was a taco for 500, but my slowest fingers didn't get them. So I'm like,
they're each forced to sacrifice themselves for the sake of their family. Remember,
so like I was just in my bed, you know, like actually dying because I've been doing this for like around 10 minutes. Got nothing. Then I see a taco. I was like, oh my god, no, gets nothing. It's so sad, man. I could have gotten 160 MT right there.
And his wish. I bet he appreciates his family now that they're all gone forever. And since no one is left to sacrifice themselves, it's Max's turn. He approaches Krampus and his freaky pals, wanting to take his wish back. He offers himself in place of his family. See, again, he's hoping to sacrifice himself for his family. Sacrifice. Sacrifice. Have you got it yet? It is all very sentimental, and it seems like Krampus might be feeling it too, wiping a tear. Then laughs. That's right, Krampus is a dick. This ain't Santa Claus, kid. Krampus grabs him, hanging him over the lava pit, screaming voices heard from the underworld below. And then Max is dropped in, plunging into the orange abyss. So it looks like the damage was already done. Or was it? We flash to white. Max wakes up in bed, panicked, and it's Christmas morning all over again. So it looks like the movie was all a dream, and now he can do Christmas right, and everything is hunky-dory. Look, everyone is so happy and normal. Everything is perfect. Max finally loves his family and appreciates them for who they are. Isn't that neat? And then his dad gives Max his present, the Krampus ball. Oh shit, maybe everything isn't sugar plums after all. And there's an uncomfortable silence as lines from earlier play. They look a little confused, and the camera pulls out, revealing that they are but one of many snow globes in Krampus's collection. So, wait, what the fuck happened? Based on what we're told, it seems like Max did sacrifice himself to learn his lesson. But with Krampus, that doesn't mean things will work out. By making the wish in the first place and invoking Krampus, it's too late. There's no going back to normal. Once the letter is written, Krampus is in control, and he is not trying to reward you, he's here to punish you. So sure, now Max does have his family.
Just don't expect me to talk unless there's something pops up, because I'm gonna be silent. I'm just gonna be watching YouTube, because this could take an hour and get one card. This could be an hour and take one card. But when it happens, woo! Free MT right there, bitch.
Basically, love your family before you make any wishes. That's kind of what they seem to be.
What the fuck?
Anyway, that's at least the best that I can figure. Hopefully that explains at least sort of what I think Doherty was going for with the whole ending of the thing. And again, thanks to George Durr. I hope this was helpful to you in some way.
That was so long.
And, again, for everyone else, if you have an idea that you would like to see me do a video for,
I'm gonna say who people who actually sell them for 500 are just so goated. I just love them because they're selling Opals for 500.
Oh, geez, Sam. Man, look at you. You're huge. Looks like you've been taking your vitamins. Well, you can't be here to kill me because you know I follow all the rules of Halloween, but so in that case, does that mean you want me to explain the rules of Halloween so everyone knows how to celebrate it right? Well, in that case, come on in. Glad to have you, man. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Foundflix. The Halloween season is officially upon us, and that means it's time to bust out those yearly must-watch movies to set the mood of the season, even though it's technically Halloween all year around these parts. And one of my absolute favorites is 2007's Trick or Treat, the interwoven anthology that cleverly subverts many tropes of the horror genre with its 5 different stories, along with teaching us the important rules and traditions of the holiday. Unfolding on Halloween night in the small town of Warren Valley, Ohio, this particular Halloween has an unexpected visitor to help the town follow these rules. The child-sized burlap sack, pajama-clad demon Sam, who pops up in each of the stories as a kind of overwatcher or observer, a sort of ambassador of the holiday. The character was an instant horror icon, and it's partially thanks to him that the movie is so good, but it's also creative in the way it tells each of its stories. Rather than one after another, almost like a collection of shorts, Trick or Treat zigzags between the stories, as well as jumping back
He's giving me one card.
over the night.
He's on a card. It's been 5 minutes.
Together in surprising ways. And it's this structure
Give me
that makes
hope.
it more unique and helps it stand on its own when compared to other anthologies. But this also makes things a bit harder to follow, as we constantly move between each story. And it can be difficult to see how everything comes together and how everything connects. So let's kick the Halloween season off with Trick or Treat, breaking down the film's various stories, the ever-important rules of Halloween, as well as explaining the ending, which brings all of our stories full circle. The first shot of the film is actually also chronologically the end of our separate stories, colliding all together at once. Rhonda passing by with a wagon, almost getting hit by a car full of werewolf girls, then focusing in on our first story, meeting a couple of
Prime
who are coming from a big party downtown.
Tony Parker, tough
Wants
game.
to take down the decorations in the yard, but Henry argues not to, calling it tradition. She's adamant, though, sending Henry inside and beginning to dismantle things. She should have listened to Henry, though, as making sure to leave your decorations up all night is one of those rules of Halloween, which she is about to find out the hard way. Removing the sheets from Ghost, Sam pops out of a box covered in a sheet, attacking her, then jamming his signature broken jack-o'-lantern lollipop into her mouth, leaving her to be found by Henry later. Sorry, Emma, gotta follow those rules. After the opening sequence, we go back to earlier in the evening. The downtown square is hopping, full of Halloween revelers all in costume. But not everyone is ready for the night out, meeting a group of girls in a shop trying on costumes. In the dressing rooms, we overhear them talking about how they do this every year, making mention of fresh meat, all while being watched by a peeping Tom kid, played by the same child actor that also plays Sam. The girls all step out in their costumes, each one a sexed up version of a fairy tale princess, making fun of that whole idea of unnecessarily and inappropriately turning every costume sexual. But one of the group, Lori, is hesitant to come out, them teasing her with the lines by the wolf and three little pigs about huffing and puffing and blowing their house down. She sheepishly steps out, revealing her dressed as Little Red Riding Hood. One of the rules is to always wear a costume. Halloween is the one day where we dress up and become someone we aren't. The movie plays with this idea in many of the stories. Often the costumes worn are the opposite of the person's.
What the fuck was that? What did I just hear? Yo, let me go back. Wait a minute. What the fuck was that? What did I just hear? I have no idea what the rule.
On the way. Then it becomes clear from the girls' conversations that Lori is a virgin, but they're not referring to it in the sense that we're thinking of. As in this case, it means that Lori has yet to have her first kill. The girls are werewolves, and all of their talk of men and Lori wanting her first time to be special is about killing rather than anything sexual. Lori's friends are quick to pick up their own prey in the form of the local news crew and take off with them, leaving Lori by herself to find a date of her own. Elsewhere in town, a pudgy troublemaker, face smeared in chocolate, makes his way down a neighborhood street, knocking down every jack-o'-lantern he passes. He arrives at a house without the lights on, which typically means that they aren't actively participating in the holiday, and usually leave a bowl of candy out on the porch. Here, the bowl is marked to help yourself to one piece, but with no one around to enforce this, the kid greedily empties the entire bowl into his bag. It turns out someone is around, Principal Wilkins, who catches the boy red-handed and asks him to stay for a chat. They take a seat on the front steps, Wilkins noticing pulp on the boy's foot from smashing pumpkins, saying he used to be like him himself until his dad taught him to respect the knife.
Oh, play this song. Nah. Now I realize what it was.
Traditions are in fact to protect us from evil, but feels no one cares about it nowadays. While Wilkins does follow the rules, he does so in a twisted way, and thus he doesn't correctly represent the holiday. And now the kid who didn't respect the night's rules either is about to learn another one. Always check your candy, Wilkins warns, and the kid starts to violently erupt, vomiting a chocolate goo fountain, a trapped him inside, getting filthy in the process. Before he can get too far, the doorbell rings. A trio of trick-or-treaters who play into a later story, asking Wilkins if they can have his pumpkins. The kids take off, the pirate one definitely suspecting something is wrong on the way out, but Sam, seen for the first time here, is left standing there alone. Pretty creepy introduction to him. Like, where the heck did this kid come from? And what is he gonna do? But he merely takes a candy bar and rushes off, hearing the sounds of a cat in his sack as he goes down the stairs. Wilkins returns to taking care of the kid's body, but keeps getting interrupted by his mop-headed son Billy screaming down from the window inside, drawing attention to what he's doing from the neighbor's dog. Wilkins severs a finger, tossing it to the dog as a treat, but brings his owner, the curmudgeonly Mr. Krieg, outside, yelling out to Wilkins and trying to peek through the fence to see what he's doing. He blames it on a busted septic tank, which is good enough to send Krieg away. But then his kid starts screaming down at him again, yelling he wishes mommy was still alive. And from the grave he puts the kid in, it does look like there's another body in there with him. Is this his wife that Wilkins also murdered? That's pretty hardcore if so. As he heads back inside, he catches Krieg at his window calling out for help. "Screw you," he utters, walking in, and seeing a blur of Sam taking him to the ground, tying together with his story much later. Inside, it initially is presented that Wilkins is going to kill his son, who is pretty annoying. Billy naively sits there as his father approaches behind him with a knife, stabbing it down, coming up with blood on the blade. "Oh no, Billy!" But he's fine. It's actually the pudgy kid's head who he stabbed, whose head is acting as a demented jack-o'-lantern for these two weirdos. Obviously, Wilkins is a serial killer in some capacity, and already is grooming his boy to take on the family trade. We then enter our next segment, featuring the same group of kids seen at Wilkins, trick-or-treating at another house, where there is one heck of a party going on. Their teacher dressed as a cat, even offering them to come inside and have a drink, which they wisely decline. And it turns out she too is a werewolf like the other girls as seen later. Another kid in a skull mask, Schrader, joins them with a cart full of pumpkins, asking if they have enough yet. Almost, Macy decides, making a final stop at the socially awkward girl Rhonda's house, her yard filled with pumpkins all over the dang place. It isn't revealed yet, but the reason behind this is that they are playing a prank on poor Rhonda, based on her being the most aggressive about the plan. It seems that Macy selected Rhonda specifically, just because she's weird or whatever, I guess, and showing that her costume of an angel isn't exactly who she actually is, which is a big fat me. Before seeing her trick in action, we return to the big party going on downtown, meeting another potential monster in the night, entering into a steamy alley where a couple is getting hot and heavy. A man in a mask is getting a bit too intense and bites her neck. Whoa, it looks like we got a vampire in town too. She runs back to the main square, the sound of the parade drowning out her screams, and the blood covering her seeming normal with others in the crowd. She reaches out to Emma and Henry for help, but he dismisses her as probably being drunk and moving on. Behind her, the masked man appears, taking her and killing her, leaving her bloody corpse on the streets. Thanks for the help, Henry and Emma. Jeez. We pick up with the kids having their own Charlie Brown Halloween moment, walking in a line through an ominous pumpkin patch. This particular segment being my favorite and certainly most frightening of the film, when their prank winds up having deadly consequences. They reach their destination, an abandoned rock quarry, looking over to a long drop, fog obscuring the bottom. The others wondering what it is they're doing here. Macy explains it's to pay respects to the dead, telling of a local legend of something that happened 30 years ago in this very spot. On that Halloween afternoon, a school bus full of unusual children wearing dodgy masks, described as troubled and disturbed, were driven to a school far out of town every day, their parents ashamed of their own children. But this day, the driver took a different path, driving by Sam sitting on the side of the road. Instead of taking the kids home as usual, the driver took them to this abandoned rock quarry. The parents had grown tired and embarrassed of their children, and pooled money together to offer the driver to get rid of them. He stops the bus at the edge of the quarry, handing out candy to each of the children, and checking their wrist restraints, ensuring they can't escape their fates. But one boy in a Dracula mask becomes agitated and gets free, taking the wheel of the bus, driving it over the edge of the cliff and plummeting into a lake below. The legend goes the driver was never heard from again, though did survive, seen pulling himself out of the water heaving. As for the bus, it's said to still be at the bottom of the lake, along with the 8 kids' bodies who perished in the crash, which is why the kids were collecting those jack-o'-lanterns, bringing along 8 pumpkins as stand-ins for each soul lost, leaving them as an offering for those that died. Utilizing a precarious-looking elevator, they leave Rhonda alone with the pirate kid to enact the final stage of their prank. As Rhonda and the pirate kid descend slowly down the elevator, they spot the kids and the light of their jack-o'-lanterns, until one screams for help, her light suddenly going out. The last one snuffed out just as they reach the bottom. Properly scared, they call out to the others, but there's no sign of them. Rhonda bravely unlocks the door, stepping out, leaving the pirate kid behind, telling him the candles will protect him. Approaching the lake, she is greeted by a haunting sight. The bus from 30 years ago still sticking.
Yo, that's a snipe, isn't it? Yo, first snipe. Wait, I didn't get it, didn't I? I didn't get it. I'm so dumb. I'm fucked. I didn't even check.
Terrified Rhonda, who falls into a hole after losing her glasses. The ghouls remove their masks, revealing it's just the kids. It was all just a prank to scare Rhonda, but they definitely went way too far, even though Macy is delighted with the outcome. But if it was all just a joke, then how was the bus there? Because that part of the story was true. Indeed, all of it was, as they discovered. When real ghouls show up, the spirits of the kids on the bus, their respective masks, now the creatures they become. Chains fling out, grabbing Sarah, dragging her back to them. The tables turn, the three make it to the elevator, pleading with Rhonda inside to let them in. The ghoul kids right behind them. She considers instead pressing the up button, the elevator ascending, leaving the others to die, waving goodbye to them. Well, that'll sure teach them for playing a trick. Since Rhonda was the subject of the trick and also keeps Halloween's traditions alive, she is spared from death, as Sam does not attack her, merely watching nearby in a tunnel, hearing the other kids being torn apart, accompanied by their anguished screams below. This was surprising because it's pretty uncommon for kids to actually be killed in horror movies. So I gotta give credit to Doherty here for following through here. It makes the entire segment have a much more terrifying.
Come on, give me a snipe.
And in this case, in particular, the dead, because this is the one night the dead can come back. We then pick up back with Lori, heading to join the other girls at their party in the woods, all alone. Another of the rules: never head out at night alone. And the scene, along with her, she is the helpless victim. Here, even more so, pretty much recreating a scene right out of Little Red Riding Hood. The man in the mask appears in the forest, having been stalking her since seeing her at the square. Treated as the wolf to her Red Riding Hood, going through the "my, what big eyes you have" quote before biting down on her neck, Lori screaming out. And when a wrapped up body drops down from the trees at the party with the rest of the girls, they're worried that it's Lori inside, but it's the masked man, begging for help as Lori enters. We then learn the man's identity, and that he was only pretending to be a vampire. One of their friends removing his fake fangs, then his mask. It's a mortified Wilkins underneath who asks who they are. Don't worry, you'll see for yourself in a moment, seeing the bodies of others strewn around, including the news crew guys picked up by the girls earlier. Getting on top of Wilkins, Lori coyly plays with him, saying it's her first time, and the girls start to get all weird and ritualistic, dancing and shedding their clothes, then slopping off their skin as well, revealing their true forms as werewolves. Lori bites Wilkins' neck, all watched by Sam approvingly sitting on a log nearby. The idea here being another subversion of the girls, who are normally portrayed as helpless victims, but in this case it turns out they are the real threat, and those like Wilkins, who only pretend to be monsters, is witness to what a real monster looks like, paying the price with his life. He did kind of deserve it for killing all those other people though, even if he was a true believer in the holiday. Jumping again back to earlier, around the time of Wilkins burying the kid in his yard, we see what was going on next door at the same time. Three geeky kids come up to a derelict house. They still knock on the door, swinging open to darkness. And then two green glowing eyes appear, lunging after them and growling, sending the kids off screaming into the streets. But it was just Krieg's tiny dog with lights on its head, which is a pretty good prank, old man. Back inside, Krieg sets fire to a box of old photos, which we don't see the specifics of yet, and he takes a seat, retrieving a candy bar from one of the kids' sacks, and takes a bite, disgusted. The candy must be from one of Wilkins' special poison batches. He hears banging nearby and goes to the front window to investigate, and an egg explodes onto his window. Looks like Sam is here with a few tricks of his own. Krieg follows his dog's barks into the backyard, connecting to the previous interaction he had with Wilkins when he was burying the kid, now seen from Krieg's perspective. Another noise draws him back to the front of the house, where he's greeted to a yard suddenly full of jack-o'-lanterns. Apparently, Sam must have raided the display at Rhonda's house. An angered Krieg is about to smash a pumpkin until Spike's barking sends him back inside, seeing the doggy door still swinging. Uh-oh, Sam is in the house. Retrieving a shotgun, he catches a glimpse of him running upstairs, followed by the sound of his dog yowling in pain. Oh, poor puppers! Entering the bedroom, there's movement under the sheets. And when pulled off, it's just a robot mummy hand. Then a jack-o'-lantern nearby engulfs in flames, revealing messages from Sam scrawled all over the ceiling and walls. Distracted by the display, Sam reaches out from underneath the bed, slashing the back of Krieg's heel with a razor sticking out of a candy bar. Krieg fires, hitting the flaming pumpkin, and Sam disappears. He hobbles through the halls, landing on another of Sam's traps, candy scattered all over the floor, sending him tumbling down the stairs. And it's not just candy on the floor, but shards of glass as well, seen protruding from Krieg's wounds. This Sam guy is pretty twisted. Krieg struggles to unlock the mini locks on his front door, each movement painful thanks to the glass in his skin. Unbeknownst to him, Sam crawls on the ceiling towards him, squealing and leaping onto him. Krieg slams him into the wall, getting him off, and goes to the window shouting to Wilkins for help, who we know isn't going to, as Sam tackles him. Krieg struggles, tugging at his mask and pulling it off, seeing his real face, which is a weird-looking pumpkin demon kind of thing. Krieg pushes him off once again, and Sam bites his leg, gnawing at it. He gets a point-blank shot right into Sam, the impact blowing him clear across the floor, sliding all the way to the front door. Sam not moving, Krieg shoots him in the chest, pumpkin guts exploding out. So he's actually made out of a pumpkin, which is pretty amazing. Then blows off his hand too for good measure. Take that, you little shit! Of course that's not going to put Sam down for good. Krieg calls 911 until the phone cord is ripped out of the wall and gets stabbed in the foot by Sam's disembodied hand. He kicks it away, going for his gun, but is out of bullets. Watching as the hand crawls back to Sam, fusing back onto his body, good as new, and retrieves his mask, putting it back on, going for a fresh jack-o'-lantern lollipop and biting off the corner. He lifts the jagged lollipop and stabs it into his chest. To Krieg's relief, it only pierced a candy bar that was in his pocket. Sam taking a bite and walking away, turning back and staring once more before leaving. The door whooshing open on its own, and he's gone, leaving Krieg utterly baffled as to what just happened. And now we see the photo he was burning in the fire, a picture of the group of kids from the town's legend, and the bus driver that was paid to kill them, making the connection clear that Krieg and the bus driver 30 years ago are one and the same. We do see that his experience with Sam has begrudgingly forced him into properly celebrating the holiday. Instead of scaring trick-or-treaters that show up later, he dutifully hands out candy from an arm sling. He looks out into the street, this moment connecting all the way back to the opening sequence where all of our stories collide at once. Next door, Wilkins' son is wearing his father's outfit, handing out more of his poison candy, while Rhonda walks through the streets, almost getting hit by the werewolf girls. Krieg then sees Sam standing down the street, and something catches his attention. The couple Henry and Emma from the opening returning home. He overhears the same argument about Emma wanting to take down the decorations, and now Sam has his next target, sending him over to teach Emma a lesson about following the rules. Everything coming chronologically full circle back to the opening sequence. But in a final ending button, even though Krieg did learn his lesson from Sam, there's still the lingering issues of those kids he killed 30 years ago. And guess who shows up moments later at his doorstep? The kids, now undead ghouls. The one in the Dracula mask croaking trick or treat before they kill him as revenge for what he did all those years ago. If you want to make sure you don't wind up like Krieg here, you gotta follow the rules. Here's the 4 most important ones. Always wear a costume. Always pass out treats. Never blow out a jack-o'-lantern. And always check your candy. Simple enough. With that, we have reached a conclusion of this ending explained for Trick or Treat.
Where are my snipes?
Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James H. Denise, and today we're looking at Trick or Treat, the Halloween.
It's been like 22 minutes and I've gotten like 1 and I fucking missed.
Trick or Treat consists of a series of intertwining vignettes that take place on Halloween night in the fictional town of Ward Valley, Ohio, a place that just loves to get its trick or treat on. Loosely connecting the stories is the burlap-stacked, kid-sized entity Sam, who's happy to be an impassive observer until he sees the spirit of Halloween being projected, at which point he'll step in to personally intervene. Although it doesn't have any single overarching story, Trick or Treat is a true treasure of a film, not taking itself too seriously, but also never trying to be too cool with detached irony. It's a sincere,
I'm in pain. I've been sitting in my chair for so long with nothing.
The movie begins with a grumpy robot, this lady Emma, who's complaining to her partner that Halloween's lame. She blows out a jack-o'-lantern, despite him saying it's ancient tradition to leave them lit, and takes off her robot costume right there on the sidewalk. All this bah humbuggery attracts the attention of someone with a glossy field of vision who runs across the street towards their house. After she finishes de-roboting on the porch, Emma tells her man she wants to take down the decorations right now. Lady, are you serious? Look at your house. It's literally going to take hours to put away.
I hate Halloween.
Yeah, well, you must hate getting a good night's sleep, too, because this is about to take you all night. But she presses on in her anti-Halloween crusade, stopping only when she sees the Jabberwocky across the street that spooks her out. But false alarm, he's just waiting to get picked up to go to dance practice so they can nail their performance at Horror Nights this year. No, Emma, the real threat for you is that ghost. Nah, just playing. It's not a ghost. It's something inside the sheets that starts tearing at her and knocks her out to the sidewalk. It takes a bitten off lollipop and slits her throat with it, which scares these trio of kids away. Get out of here, you bunch of clowns. Emma becomes our first kill of the movie, just 4 minutes in. And shortly thereafter, her man finds her body beneath a sheet, hung up and dismembered, and with that yummy pumpkin lolly in her mouth. The opening credits are in the style of the comic book, since Wildstorm Comics had originally planned to release a related comic series alongside the film. Although the comics were delayed, the opening still gives us a nice little preview of the vignettes to come. Then we're taken earlier that evening to a news report talking about how fucking bonkers this town goes over Halloween, like they're that place in Hocus Pocus or something. A little kid purrs on some girls in changing rooms, which is weird because he's like 6. But also this is the kid that plays Sam, so at least you get a little cameo there. The girls he's looking at are a trio of girls in sexed up Halloween costumes, also known as Halloween costumes, Danielle, Marie, and Janet. And then there's Lori, younger sister to Danielle, the sexerella over there, who's much more sexed down in a demure Little Red Riding Hood costume. Danielle invites the elven cashier to a party that night after asking when he gets off.
In about 20 minutes, actually.
Yeah, right, dude. You're working a costume shop on Halloween, brah. You ain't getting off till the vampires go to sleep. On their way to the party, after bumping into Grouchbot, Danielle tells Lori she needs to find a date, because it's sad that she's a 22-year-old virgin. Wow, this really might be the town from Hocus Pocus. And Marie and Janet seem just as obsessed with getting that D, since they ask these random guys loading up a news van out on dates to the party. A couple of van beers later, this party's ready to roll. Danielle reluctantly agrees to leave Lori behind to go find her own date in the streets of this crazy Halloween party. Meanwhile, Charlie, played by that kid from Bad Santa, is walking down the street doing his best Billy Corgan impersonation. When he goes to steal some candy from an unsupervised porch, he's caught red-handed by the owner of the house, Principal Stephen Wilkins.
Don't waste a good lie on this.
Wilkins makes him sit down and eat his candy while he talks about carving jack-o'-lanterns and other Halloween traditions. He must be a bad storyteller because Charlie starts having a physical reaction, gagging and burping and making all sorts of disgusting sounds there. What's going on there, Chuckster? Something you forgot to do?
Always check your candy.
Yeah, I think he forgot to do that, which is why he sits there doubled over, puking up blood and or chocolate. I don't really see the joke there, but Wilkins sure is having a laugh, probably because he's the one who poisoned all that chocolate. With that, Charlie dies, slouching over into Wilkins' lap for our second kill of the movie. I guess that's one less kid to process paperwork for at school, right, Stephen? Wilkins' corpse removal is interrupted by a knock at the door. It's a trio of trick-or-treaters, and they ask him for his jack-o'-lantern as part of a scavenger hunt. He gives it to them, along with some candy, and after they leave, there's a cute little bag-headed feller who Wilkins also gives candy to. You don't know how much of a right decision that was, Steve. You don't want to get on that kid's bad side. Wilkins goes out back and uncovers a grave containing another body, but before he can heave Charlie's down into it, he gets interrupted again, this time by his son Billy, who's just yelling his goddamn lungs out about how he's done trick-or-treating. Then, because this segment is a black comedy of errors, Wilkins gets interrupted yet again, now by his neighbor, old Mr. Krieg, who overhears when the other body in the grave starts screaming and moving around. Krieg walks over to the fence and Heidi Ho neighbors Mr. Wilkins, asking him what the hell's going on. Wilkins is able to talk himself out of the situation and tries to silence the body for good, but gets interrupted once more by Billy, screaming about carving jack-o'-lanterns and asking to go with his dad to the parade later.
No, Daddy has a date.
Billy goes away and Wilkins seems to be in the clear.
But don't forget to open with the eyes!
Jesus, Billy, you know what? Halloween is canceled. No more Halloween for you, on account of your screaming into the night sky like that. With the coast finally clear for really real, Wilkins takes a shovel and delivers an overhead smack to the shuffling bag, giving us a kill that cuts away immediately, but at least we get to see him watering the grave. That's nice. What's not nice is the way Wilkins is mocking his own son. He seems real friggin' annoyed with that kid, so it's troublesome when he grabs a knife
Should I?
and with him to carve the jack-o'-lantern.
Shit, nah, he's like 40.
Young dead Billy's kid, so get the hell out of there.
But I'm gonna.
Raises his knife up and brings it down in a powerful stab. But turns out Billy's not in danger after all. And that the jack-o'-lantern is
I'm gonna do it.
Charlie's hat. Sorry to scare
Fuck
all
it.
of you. There's no filicide going down.
Fuck.
But don't forget to open with the eyes.
See? Nothing to worry about here at all. Now we're back to those trick-or-treaters, Macy, Sarah, and Chip. We're filicide going down here at all. And that the jackal knife up. And we don't need 2 weeks in a row with the young dead Billy's kid, so get the hell out of here. Wilkins raises his knife up and brings it down in a powerful stab. But turns out Billy's not in danger after all. And that the jack-o'-lantern is actually Charlie's hat. Sorry to scare all of you. There's no filicide going down here. It's just some father-son bonding.
But don't forget to open with the eyes.
See? Nothing to worry about here at all. Now we're back
Alright, let's go.
to those trick-or-treaters, Macy, Sarah, and Chip, who are trick-or-treating at another teacher's home and interrupting her swinger-looking party. Eye on the prize, kids. You're there for jack-o'-lanterns, not whatever's going on in that party. Yo, what is going on in that party?
Coach Taylor was in a hostile costume. But fucking a pig.
Oh, they're joined by another kid, Schrader, who's real shitty at supermarket sweep and only got 3 more pumpkins for him. To get enough jack-o'-lanterns for their quest, they go to this house, home of Rhonda, who they call an idiot savant. But honestly, it looks to me like she's just dope as hell at carving pumpkins. Razor turns on his charm, because they gonna be needing some of that squash. Over at the town's festival of costume fools, a lady makes out with a masked stranger in an alleyway, the start of every good love story. Their tongue tangle stops when she lifts up her hand to find out she's bleeding, like kind of a lot there, and that this dude's got bangs. Hot damn, do we got a vampire on our hands? She runs away from him and towards the parade in a very I know what you did last summer like shot, but unlike Sarah Michelle, this chick actually makes it to safety. But her victory is short-lived, since her pleading for help is rebuffed by the Grumpytron 9000, who mistakes her for just another drunk hoodlum with fake blood all over her body. Masked Man shows up behind her and whips his cape over her for another off-screen kill, resting her body against the storefront to look like she's just passed out. You know, like people do all the time in public streets at crazy Halloween parades. Masked Vampire Man walks off into the night, presumably to find another victim. With a wagon full of pumpkins in tow, the trick-or-treater kids are led by Macy to a cliff overlooking a rock quarry where she regales them all with a Halloween story. It's a sepia-tone tale of a bus full of 8 kids who are described as so troubled and disturbed that their embarrassed parents bus them to a school miles out of town to keep them hidden from sight. But once upon a Halloween, the driver takes a different route, one that passes the cemetery and sand, straight to the abandoned rock quarry that Macy and co are now standing in. Turns out the parents were sick of dealing with their dirty little secrets and paid the bus driver to kill them all. And it would have worked too, if not for these meddling kids, especially this Dracula, who realizes they aren't where they should be and tries to drive the bus home on his own. He only manages to get it moving in a straight line that goes straight off the cliff, where it falls and sinks into the water below. The 8 children are killed as their masks float away along the surface of the water. They all get added to our list, although I'm not sure of the genders, while the driver is spared. He makes it out, and according to Macy, is never heard from again. Macy's plan is to leave 8 jack-o'-lanterns by the side of the lake as an offering to the kids who died. She and the other 2 alpha-most kids descend on the elevator first, and when Rhonda and Pirate Boy follow a little later, they hear the first 3 kids screaming and watch as their jack-o'-lanterns go out. That doesn't stop Rhonda from stepping out of the elevator to go see what happened. She tells Chip not to let the jack-o'-lanterns go out because they'll protect him, then heads out and finds herself staring at a school bus half sunken in the lake. This creepy image that corroborates Macy's tale only gets worse when a hand reaches out to grab her leg. Creatures emerge from the water, and Rhonda runs back to the elevator where she finds Chip on the ground getting his guts good and nommed on. After she really Velmas it up, her blind ass gets cornered by the creatures, all wet and chained, and Rhonda falls backwards off a ledge into some water, getting knocked out as the creatures lean over her and stare. When she comes to, she learns that the creatures were just the other kids, and that Chip wasn't even dead. Those are probably just nasty cold hot dogs around his neck. Strader finally learns what empathy is and says that it's about time these ramblers get rambling, so they should pack it up and leave. Over by the bus, Macy kicks the last lit jack-o'-lantern nearby into the water, which immediately proves to be a mistake when they start hearing spooky noises. Sure enough, looks like we got some zombie kids on our hands who giggle as they shamble towards the 4 mean kids. During the retreat, the chains on Sarah's costume get hung up and she's dragged away by the zombie bus kids, who temporarily stop their pursuit to get their murder on. The other kids reach the elevator where Rhonda has locked herself inside, safe with the final lit jack-o'-lantern. She goes to let them in, then is all psych and hits the button to go up by herself, waving bye-bye to them as she ascends. The kids are cornered by the zombies and killed off screen, their screams and some nasty wet tearing noises filling the rock quarry as Rhonda walks away from it all completely still and faded. Sam shows up and is happy to leave Rhonda alone, for she is true and has the Halloween spirit within her. Meanwhile, Lori's been walking around looking for a date but having no luck, which is pretty hard to believe since she's friggin' sucky. Danielle calls her saying she has a backup date for Lori, but he's a little too baby oopsie-daisy for her. While she's on the phone, Lori notices the masked killer from earlier staring at her, and later when she's walking to the bonfire party by herself, he pops up out of nowhere and attacks her, slamming her up against the tree and biting into her neck like a frickin' vampire. Danielle and the others at the party, worried about Lori's whereabouts, scream in horror when a body in Lori's costume falls from the tree. When they check it out, it and begging them for help. Lori shows up to the party looking much more like a little pirate wench, and she tells the rest of the ladies, "Arr, that dude bit me." Maria goes over to him and takes out his fake bang. "You're not a real vampire at all. You were never a real vampire. In fact, you're just a high school principal, Stephen freaking Wilkins." Man, you've had a busy night. Steve does have a good question, though.
Who are you people?
And then he discovers for himself. Let's see, we got a pirate, another body line there. That's cool, I guess. Oh, that's one of the dudes band dudes. And oh shit, it's a wide shot, and there are a lot of bodies here. I actually paused this and went through it a ton in slow motion. And all in all, I think there are 9 bodies here, including the 2 band guys, the cashier, the big baby man, and 5 others. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. This number makes sense to me though, since there are also 9 girls other than Lori at this banger, and after all, they all need a date. And Lori's dating Stephen Wilkins, who ain't going nowhere on account of his broken leg. She climbs atop him and gives him fair warning.
It's my first time, so just bear with me.
Then, to a sexy montage scored by a Marilyn Manson cover of Sweet Dreams Are Made of These, the ladies at the party strip down and transform. Lori straight up unzips her back, and she she and the others start tearing off their own skin in delightfully nasty shots. They're becoming shagadelic werewolves, baby. Do they make you horny, Steven? No, just terrified? That's cool. You'll make a tasty snack either way. As Lori feasts on Steven, Danielle howls at the moon in victory, since Lori's finally lost her rare virginity. Sam sits there and watches it all, which makes me a little worried about his development. This is not for young eyes, mister, if you even have eyes. We do another time jump to earlier in the night. We got one trio of trick-or-treaters from the opening visit a house only to get scared off by glowing eyes and growls emerging from the dark. Get out of here, you bunch of clowns. Turns out it's just Mr. Krieg and his pup, and he hates Halloween. Krieg hates everything about this holiday, up to and including the candy. Looks like his Halloween traditions involve his good buddy Jim Beam and everyone's favorite pastime of burning photographs in the fireplace. Well, he's busy scrooging it up at all the Halloween specials on TV. A prankster aces window, sending Krieg to the closet to fish out a friggin' baseball bat. He heads out back to go all Negan on some punk prankster ass, but instead he shows
Oh,
in that earlier scene from a slightly different perspective.
give me something.
More noises send him storming out the front door, where he finds his front yard is
Eh.
he'll have none of that, thank you very much. So he takes his shotgun and heads upstairs to investigate more noises. In his bedroom, a pumpkin lights up and reveals a remodeling job done by Kevin Spacey's character in Seven. Bought that wallpaper at Serial Killers R Us. While Krieg is admiring the redesign, he gets stabbed in the leg, and out from under the bed comes Sam, a cute little kid with a bag over his head and adorable orange footy pajamas. Looks like he's packing a candy bar full of razor blades just for Krieg. Trick or treat, motherfucker. Krieg runs away and falls down the stairs onto a whole bunch of candy and loose razor blades. So when he tries to get back up, all he manages to do is cut up his hands real bad. As he fiddles with the locks on the door, trying to escape, Sam crawls across the ceiling until he's right over Krieg and then drops down for a fun little grapple session. During the fight, Krieg pulls off Sam's back
Oh my god.
face on a pumpkin head. You know what? Still kind of cute. He's even cute as he bites into Krieg's leg for a tasty snack until Krieg recovers the shotgun and shoots Sam point blank, which sends him across the room against the door. When Krieg goes buck wild with a couple extra shots to reveal
Just give me a card.
Sam recovers and remasks himself, and out of his trick-or-treating sack grabs a Play-Doh and pumpkin lolly and bites into a weapon. He raises the candy up high to bring it down on
Oh, I was actually about that. I was like, oh my god.
That's all he wanted? Oh, Sam, you're not you when you're hungry. His sweet tooth satiated, Sam leaves, closing the door behind him with some Halloween magic. A close-up on those burning pictures reveals that the reason Krieg hates this damn holiday so much is because he was the bus driver for the rock orchestra. Later on, Krieg gets a visit from three little pigs, and damaged as he may be, he complies with the sacred laws of Halloween and gives them all some candy. With the spirit of Halloween restored, the movie wraps up as a despair storyline, showing an orphan but cheerful Billy Wilkins dressed up like his dad and handing out candy, the last Tory jack-o'-lantern being pulled in a wagon by Rhonda, and the weregales heading home in a mood of elation. Sam watches over it all, keeping an eye on Krieg until something else catches his eye. A grouchy fucking robot lady just pulls out her jack-o'-lantern. You know what to do, Sam. Go enforce those Halloween laws. Just when you think it's all over, Krieg gets one final knock at the door. Looks like it's those meddling kids from the school bus. Ready or not, here they kill. Final Kill the movie is done in quick flashes of a graphic novel death as Mr. Krieg gets his comeuppance from the kids who killed.
This game is. Give me a Galaxy Opal, 360 Galaxy Opal check. Nothing. Yay.
27 people were killed around that bonfire. 27 I counted, only 4 were female, 16 were male, and the 7 kids besides Dracula were unverified either way. Regardless, it's pretty available.
Ooh, crack.
At a lean runtime,
Ooh, crack.
we wound up with a kill on average of 3.04 minutes. A new kill count record. Happy Halloween! I'll give the golden chainsaw the coolest kill to Charlie. So many of the other kills were off screen, but here we have the bad Santa kid.
Mama.
On Diggs and Denise, and today we're looking at the Banana Splits premiered at Comic-Con in 2019. The Banana Splits movie is based on the Banana Splits Adventure, a Hanna-Barbera show created by Sid and Marty Krofft that originally aired on NBC from 1968 to 1970. Not gonna lie, I had never heard of this show before this movie came out, but Chelsea was familiar with it, so what the fuck do I know? The show featured the same anthropomorphic furry in this feature, and they were in a band, and they would introduce various segments that mostly consisted of cartoons. Cool! How the fuck did this become a horror movie? It may have something to do with Five Nights at Freddy's and its perpetually postponed film adaptation. I guess originally, Warner Brothers was going to make the Five Nights movie, but the rights went to Blumhouse instead. And so Warner Brothers, under their subsidiary Blue Ribbon Content, decided to make a different movie featuring murderous animatronics, and they based it on the Hanna-Barbera show because the Banana Splits characters were already kind of off-putting.
I think that a lot of children's television
Yoink.
can be creepy.
For
Just give me a galaxy apple. Drink water for the luck.
But I appreciate the tone it manages to keep. It's cheesy, but not saccharine. Self-aware, but not cynical. And funny, but not mean-spirited. Plus, it's got some crazy good gore. So much so that I can't put it all in the public this episode. And hey, the score was... And that's not the first time this song was covered by a rock band either. In Kick-Ass, there was a version done by the Piggies. The band that did the iconic Killer Clowns theme.
Nah.
If you want to tra-la-la and have a good time with this movie, though, you're gonna have to buy into it. Which mostly means accepting that the Banana Splits characters are completely mechanical animatronics, even though they're clearly played by people in suits. But come on, just go with it, because then you get to see stuff like this. That's totally worth it. Let's go on again and meet the Splits, because it's time to get to the kills.
Ooh.
The movie begins with a TV show that introduces us to all the members of the Banana Split show. There's a doofy dog named Fleagle, a crazy ape named Bingo, a lion named Drooper, and a cute elephant named Snorky. Am I forgetting anyone?
And featuring Stevie.
Aw, shit, of course! Stevie! Guys, I'll... Harley. His favorite member is Snorky. He's even got a costume of the Trunks back. For Harley's birthday, he and his family are going to a live taping of the show. The tickets were bought by Harley's mom, Beth, much to the disappointment of Harley's dad, Mitch, who thinks that Harley is too old to be into this kind of thing. But I don't know, man. He's got a unicorn on his cake. Seems like the right age demo to me. Joining Harley for his birthday adventure is his half-brother Austin, son of Beth, but not of Mitch, whose best idea for a birthday present is an umbrella without the umbrella part, and a girl from Harley's school named Zoe called in as a seat warmer when Harley's only real friend got too sick to go.
But that's just for babies. Oh, and suddenly you're so mature. You know, bunnies are nice.
Blast! Bested by the bunnies once more. They arrive at the studio and drive to the back of the lot in a long sequence with a lot of ADR.
The Banana Splits is me and Austin's favorite show. Really?
I'm sure she really loves the show.
I hope Snooki does the Snooki Shuffle. It's so funny.
He's totally gonna do it. He does it every time.
Why is this segment so long? We meet some other wacky characters, also there for the taping, that include Dadager Jonathan, Parker to be a star, and Thad and Poppy, the type of social media influencers who make me hate it when I'm called a social media influencer. The woman in charge of herding these crazy cats is the studio's Paige named Paige, who Austin kinda hits on, but in a cute, awkward way, which seems to work. I think she's on the same page as you, Austin. The Banana Splits roll up in their little banana buggy and nearly run over Harley, who like, what the fuck are your survival instincts, kid? They drive away from their fans and march their mechanical asses into a workshop where their inventor and maintenance man, Carl, chastises them for almost hitting a kid. He gives Drooper a painful-looking update, during which a random programming error turns the code a scary red color. But even though inside his heart is breaking and his faux fur may be flaking, Drooper's smile still stays on, because the show must go on. While that Carl guy's the dude who created the Banana Splits animatronics, this Rebecca lady is the person who runs the Banana Split show. That is, until network exec Andy tells her that the show is #canceled. What, did Fleagle say something racist? The show's cancellation is kind of the catalyst for the whole movie, but I've gotta say, Andy sounds like he's making it up on the spot when he explains why he's axing a show that apparently still gets good ratings.
Yeah, but it's old and stupid. And I want to do something cool and edgy, so today's your last show.
The final live show gets started, and the crowd is treated to a bunch of wacky hijinks, until Drooper misses his cue to come on stage, which means Stevie, the baddest motherfucker around, is gonna have to cover for him.
We have to get Drooper out of Mr. Waltershine's fence. Again.
Haha, great work, Stevie, yeah!
That man dressed like a child.
Well, yeah, but...
That's Stevie. Nobody really likes him.
Hey, nobody really likes you, Harley. How about that? One of the show's segments is a game straight out of Double Dare called Sloppy Time.
Sloppy time.
And it looks like they made them extra sloppy for you. They know how you kids like them sloppy. Yo, and by the way, Carl must be a genius. That is some sophisticated AI to be throwing them pies like that. Obviously, in real life, the banana splits were played by people in suits, and director Danishka Esterhazy decided that instead of actors or even stunt performers, she wanted dancers to play the roles to best mimic the movements of an animatronic. So shout out to the dudes underneath these clumpy ass suits. Harry Sauls, Buntu Clam, Corey Clark, and Brandon Brago. It takes a lot to perform wearing cumbersome costumes like that.
Those things are so hot. I don't know how they're doing it all day. They're really like the heroes of this film, I think.
One of the kid competitors takes a plunge into a ball pit and uses a hammer to win the game.
He took it down. Hammer down.
If that voice sounds familiar, it's because all three of the Speaking Splits characters were voiced by Eric Bauza, a Canadian voice actor who's done a ton of work and is currently the voice of Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Marvin the Martian, and other major Looney Tunes. Those are not easy roles to get. And because I love watching voice actors do their thing, I just want to commend Bauza on all the voices he does here. Like how he replicates Alan Melvin's southern drawl for Drooper.
For his voice, you know, he kind of had the droopery kind of voice. So he kind of had that southern drawl, very slow, and that's what we did.
Does a Ross Perot-ish twist on Dawes Butler's voice for Bingo.
And for that,
Oh my
you know,
God.
much more high pitch. Again, a little bit of that weird southern drawl.
And does an excellent imitation of Paul Winchell's Tiggerific voice for Fleagle.
The amount of power and energy that he brings to this character, and then the floppiness of it all. I don't want to spit on you.
As for Snorky, he doesn't talk. Deal with it! Paige goes to Stevie's dressing/janitor room, where she finds him lounging inside, looking like a big boy. He's drunk and angry because he's fifth billed on the show and gets no respect.
They wait for the puppets. They can wait for me.
Don't you worry about Stevie there, Paige. I mean, look at him. He's the spitting image of professionalism. On his way to the stage, Stevie overhears Andy saying that the show has been canceled and that the animatronics will soon be decommissioned. He walks away, looking way too happy about his imminent job loss, but I guess it's because he's excited that the puppets will soon be no more, since after he returns to the stage for the show's big finale, he whispers to Drooper that his days are numbered. Drooper spins the wheel of endings, which, as always, lands on Rockout. And let me just say, I am living for Stevie's sweaty, drunken, dancing montage. Yeah, also, heads up, the Tra-La-La theme song will fucking burrow itself into your brain. You've been warned. The show ends, but there's a special backstage tour awaiting some of the guests who had stars on their tickets. There weren't any stars on Harley's ticket, but Austin is a great older bro and convinced Paige to help him give Harley a birthday surprise. So he gets to be the innocent Charlie Bucket of this wonkin' adventure. Charlie Bucket? Backstage, Stevie tells the very regimented Banana Splits gang that their show has been canceled. And since he hated working with all of them, why don't they get a taste of this? Drooper ain't about to put up with that disrespect, though, so Stevie becomes our first victim on the count when Drooper sticks a giant lollipop down his throat. Huh, I wonder what flavor that Oh, cherry. Yep, looks like cherry. But try to eat it a little slower next time, Stevie. During the backstage studio tour, Austin tells his mom that Mitch, his stepdad, fucking sucks. I mean, the guy's not even here with them on his own son's birthday, having stepped away to do business stuff on his phone. But wait a minute, that's not business stuff. That's PG-13 sexting between Mitch and his assistant.
There's hundreds of meetings.
Wow, man, hundreds and you're still getting bra pics? Why y'all taking that sexting so slow? Afraid of viruses? Austin comes outside and confronts Mitch, who leaves his wife and stepson with a very optimistic outlook on the situation.
Guess his night just freed up.
Yeah, that's definitely one way of looking at it. Inside, the tour has fallen apart almost as quickly as Beth and Mitch's marriage, with Jonathan running off to find a producer to look at Parker, Paige chasing after them, and Thad and Poppy leaving to go explore the rest of the studio, you know, for the gram. That leaves Harley and Zoe to meet the Banana Splits by themselves. But even though Drooper is a cool duders to them, Harley really wants to meet Snorky, who's nowhere to be found. He's too busy outside, stalking down cheating husband daddies. Jonathan finds Rebecca, and, believing her to be the producer who can make his dreams come true, tells Parker to begin their rehearsed routine.
What you gonna do with all that junk beside your tongue?
Stop.
That is disturbing.
Rebecca tells Jonathan to get the hell out of there because not only is that borderline child abuse, there's also no more show
Yo.
for Parker to be a part of. But Jonathan won't take no.
Fucking hell, man. Are you kidding me? You're fucking kidding me, right?
Thad and Poppy pass by Snorky's Circus and Bingo's Jungle so they can step onto the stage of Fleagle's Magic Shop. All of these sets were created by production designer Bobby Cardoso, who had a great time making TV show sets that could be shown in their entirety. Since this movie pulls back the camera and lets us see the whole soundstage. He was especially fond of the playing card spirals on Fleagle's Magic stage here, which is the perfect place for Thad to strike up a live stream and do the one thing I knew I would never do to Chelsea, propose in front of a live internet audience. But you know what? It works for Poppy.
Yes. Yo, she said yes.
So great, these two are good for each other. Yes, man. Too bad Fleagle is here, and he doesn't like people trespassing on his magic stage or live streaming his secrets.
But not at the camera.
Presto destructo. Fuck your phone. Fleagle pushes Thad into a magician's box and locks him inside, then forces Poppy to assist him as they reenact that kill from Leprechaun 3 by sawing the magician's assistant in half. With a final push of the saw, Thad is properly killed, which you can tell because he has blood coming out of his mouth. I don't think Poppy's a fan of the trick, but I'm a fan of this movie's practical gore, which Warner Brothers exec Peter Girardi, who helped put this movie together, championed over using CG.
All of the original property of the Banana Splits was all practical, so we wanted to keep that practical nature of it. We wanted it to kind of be true to that era, true to that kind of filmmaking.
Poppy tears off Fleagle's arm flesh, but before he can kill her, he's distracted by the sound of children, since Harley and Zoe are now strolling through the Snorky Circus. Fleagle offers to take them to meet Snorky, and even though he's got his scary Terminator arm, shit man, this kid needs to have some hella fun. So let's go! Jonathan finds the office of Andy the network executive, and is all ready to deliver his Parker pitch, but the only one there is friggin' Drooper, who stands up and blows a bunch of fire into Jonathan's face. Not the best fire effects here, but I do think it's pretty hilarious how Drooper stands there dancing as this guy's face skin melts off. And then Bingo kidnaps her daughter? Not a good start to showbiz, dude. Outside, Snorky finally decides to openly harass Mitch and chases him through a little ditch thing that the dude obviously should have just jumped out of. Mitch runs all the way to the entrance of the lot, where he finds the security guard standing in a corpse at the ready position, because that guy's head is no longer affixed. Man, I always hate the old standing corpse until it's touched thing. Almost as much as I hate the Final Destination hit and run thing. We get a character development combo, wherein Austin and Beth talk about his late father and how she wants to keep her kids safe after having to watch him die. Then the two of them meet up with Rebecca and Paige, before Jonathan stumbles into the mix, all burnt up and yelling about Fleagles and shit. So, great, these characters finally know that there's something amiss with the banana splits. Now they just have to find out that the splits are collecting kids and putting them in cages.
We're gonna have so much fun.
Beth and Austin look for Harley in Bingo's Jungle, but when Austin gets tied up in Bingo's crazy ape stuff, Beth has to turn into hot action star mom so she can save her kid from the furry. It's actually surprising how easy it was for Beth to toss Bingo aside like that. She even de-armed the ape in the process. She and Austin find Poppy still at the side of her slain fiance, but since Beth can relate to her, what with the whole dead husband thing, she's able to convince Poppy to go with them so they can all stay safe in numbers. Drooper drags Bingo's body back to the workshop so their banana split daddy Carl can fix that fella up. But good luck getting Carl to do anything right, because he can't even keep the kids from escaping their chain-link prison. And instead, he winds up locked inside the equipment cage himself. Aw, he's stuck in there. He's gonna miss Fleagle's show that's about to begin.
Sloppy time.
Yeah, it's time for Jonathan and Rebecca to get sloppy. And the splits are gonna make sure it's all captured on camera, too. Fleagle forces his captives to run the course as Drooper stands back there laughing like a killer clown. They get to the end of the course, but the only prize waiting for Jonathan is a prop key that Fleagle jams into his back. Good work, Fleagle. Just keep unlocking more kills for us like that. In fact, let's give Rebecca on the count as well. As she finishes the course, Drooper takes a hammer and smashes her frickin' head open.
He took it
He certainly did, Fleagle. He certainly did. The kids finally run into Harley's favorite split, the inimitable Snorky. But careful now, Harman. You think it's a good idea to approach the Snorkster like that?
It's Snooky. He's different.
But how can you know for sure? Oh, well, water my truck. You know what? Yeah, looks like that's doing the trick.
Are they doing the Snorky Shuffle?
What the fuck it look like, little girl? Of course they're doing the Snorky Shuffle. Having ported the noble Snorky, the kids take his hand and walk away with him into heaven, a place where nothing ever happens. The adult survivors go
Yep, he got sold.
where they find the mad scientist still locked in his cage. He laughs at them and tells them that the show must go on. Sounds like it is, because now they're hearing some music coming from a basement they discover underneath a hidden door.
What's down there? The show.
Beth, Austin, and Paige arm themselves and climb down.
You gave me a gun to my body.
He finds Carl's prototype of Hootie, a fifth banana split that he had been in the process of designing. Poppy takes it upon herself to become the Hootie. And wow, she learns the way of the banana splits, lickety splits, and she immediately gets herself a kill by swiping at Carl with some razor claws. Mother, son, and Paige make their way underground until Paige slips on some blood and discovers Doug, her fellow studio Paige, dead on the ground with Vigo's drumsticks in his eyes. Paige then looks up further to see that, oh, what the fuck? Come on! She sees, I think, 18 more bodies next to Doug's. All the other employees and adult audience members from the show. It's pretty hard to accurately count them, given the multiple angles and painted limbs, but I did my due diligence. Don't expect a gender breakdown, though. Moving on down the tunnel, they come up through the floor into a boiler room with a makeshift stage, upon which Fleagle is holding court. He and Drooper terrify their child audience with intense Stevie on a tricycle as they do some kind of fun sketch where they get to play the Grady sisters.
Now the show can go off to neighbors and neighbors and neighbors.
While they blow Stevie's body away with a huge-ass motherfucking plane, Beth makes her way to the captive kids and tries to break them free with her monkey wrench. Before she can rescue those kids, though, Snorky shows up with even more kids to imprison. But since Harley's worked his Snorky Shuffle magic, the pachyderm quietly gives him a key. Drooper and Fleagle bring out an all-new Wheel of Endings, which Andy the network exec attached to the spokes. They spin it, and for once, it doesn't land on Broncow. Instead, the outcome is a banana split. And if you can't guess what that means, well, you know what? You're not even really trying. Because these furry freaks rip Andy off of their saw trap, and Banana split him right up by tearing off all of his limbs. If it's one thing you gotta give this movie credit for, it's the very well done practical gore. Thanks to Snorky keys and mommy wrenches, all the kids are able to break free of their chains. Beth instructs Austin to help them get out of there, but she's got some more kick-ass mom stuff to do. Namely, beating these banana splits silly. The animatronics eventually gain the upper hand and are all ready to torch Beth to death. But that's when Austin returns and puts down Fleagle with a crowbar through the head. Harley provides Beth some assistance by tossing her his little birthday wand thing, and she uses that to kill Drooper by deploying it through his mouth. And no, sorry, the banana splits aren't going on the couch. This is a bunch of fucking robots, and they're not even trying to be human like the androids and aliens. So I don't want to hear it. Just when you think this family's safe, bingo, bango, bongo. There's a crazy ape who's come back to block their path. Thankfully, Snorky the Innocent interferes, and the two of them get into an all-out furry fight. They pretty much nip each other to death, leaving both of them broken on the ground. Heartbroken, Harley says goodbye to Snorky right before the elephant goes the way of Thompson.
You'll always be my favorite.
We get one of those crime scene wrap-up shots where we see what's become of all the characters. Parker tells her mom that she wants to quit acting. Zoe and Harley become good friends, and Austin scores a kiss with Paige. Oh, and look at this. Mitch is still alive, though not for long. Nah, that punch from Beth didn't kill him or nothing. But after all the emergency vehicles drive away, and he's left limping after them, Mitch does get killed by another Final Destination style hit and run. Damn, dude, should have just cut your losses and limped away to be with your assistant. The movie ends with the reveal of who's driving this cart full of furry corpses. Yep, a deranged-looking Poppy, ready to be the fifth banana split. How many people were killed in the resurrection of the Banana Splits property? Let's find out and tra-la-la to the numbers. Tra-la-la, la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la, la-la-la-la. From what I could tell, there were 27 deaths. Aside from that pile of 18 bodies, we had 8 male victims
You know.
and a single female victim, giving us a very unevenly banana split 5 chart. With a runtime of 90 minutes, that left us with a kill on average every 3.33 minutes. Kill to Andy. This movie's all about escalation, and his brutal death in the boiler room is the climax of this film's horror. Dome Machete Verlaina's kill will go to Carl, since he was partially responsible for all this madness, and yet was killed all too mercifully off screen. And that's it. The Banana Splits movie came out and although it's a little stupid, I think it's a fun kind of dumb. If you like little kids,
Give me the Galaxy Opal. It's been an hour and I haven't gotten anything.
finally covering the Child's Play reboot, and I've got some thoughts about it. Until then, I'm James A. Denise. This has been the Kill Count. Thanks a lot for watching the Kill Count for the Banana Split.
I'm so bored.
Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Denise, and today we're looking at It Chapter 2, released in 2019. It Chapter 2 is the sequel to 2017's
3,
popular
2,
It Chapter
1.
1, which I previously covered in a 2-part kill count.
Okay.
I also did a 2-part kill count for the 1990 It miniseries, but It Chapter 2 will be covered in a single video. YouTube's algorithm changed. It's boring. Don't worry about it. Chapter 2 sees the losers from the first film all grown up into a group of remarkably sexy adults. If you've read Stephen King's book, the ABC miniseries, you already know what to expect from the second
Give
half.
me
27
a
years
Galaxy Opal and Michael Jordan for 500.
Very vain to vanquish their
Imagine.
nemesis once and for all. A lot of the crew from the first movie returned for the sequel, and they all worked under the leadership of the siblings Muschietti. Andy Muschietti in the director's chair, Barbara Muschietti as producer. Andy and Barbara are both lifelong Stephen King fans, having read his books since they were the same age as the kids in part 1. They're both lovely, passionate people who were happy to spend nearly 5 years of their lives making these 2 movies and telling this ambitious story. It Chapter 2 had a tough hill to climb from the start. Living up to the box office smashing first film was always going to be a difficult task, especially when the ensemble cast of kid actors was a big part of what made it so successful. In fact, one of the most common criticisms of the It miniseries was that the second adult-focused half wasn't as strong as the first. I guess John Ritter kissing clowns just couldn't match kids building trash dams or whatever. Would It Chapter 2 face the same kind of negative reaction? Maybe a little bit. It wasn't received as enthusiastically as the first, neither critically nor at the box office. But in my opinion, anyone calling this an awful movie is overstating the case. It's definitely not as strong as the first one for a number of reasons, including pacing, with the movie nearly 3 hours long, tone, with a few too many comedic beats at inappropriate moments, and scariness. I don't think it's nearly as scary as Chapter 1. But I'm willing to excuse a lot of that, since I was blown away by the movie's epic scale, how hilarious it was when the comedy landed, and most of all, the cast they got for the adult losers. They took a lot of care to find physically similar actors, a process that began on set during the first film and included input from the kid actors.
From the beginning, I was always Bill Hader. I was just like a super fan. Yeah, it's a very unconventional way of hiring someone. Saying a 14-year-old told me to hire you.
They were obviously very successful at this endeavor. James Ransone looks exactly like a grown-up version of Jack Dylan Grazer, a similarity that even Ransone's closest relatives noted right off the bat.
Even my brother, he saw this in the theater and he was like, my kid looks like PJ. He was weirded out by it.
But it's not just the physical similarities that make this cast impressive. It's also the
Come on.
talent on display. Everyone is phenomenal, and I'm gonna riot when Bill Hader's performance inevitably gets overlooked for an Oscar. It's the cast's heartfelt portrayals that give the film's heavy emotional beats such weight. I cried.
Ooh, what is that?
I love it when a movie makes me cry, man. Couple of quick notes before we get started. First, I may mention some production info that probably would have been more appropriate in the kill count for the first first movie, but back then, I didn't include as much behind-the-scenes info as I do now. And speaking of the It Chapter 1 kill count, I actually have some corrections to make regarding it, but I'll explain after we do the numbers for this movie, so stick around for those. All that being said, let's finally get into it. Chapter 2. The movie begins with young Beverly Marsh floating in a sewer. Damn it, Bev, I told you that deadlights are like the eclipse. You're not supposed to look directly at them. We kind of recap the ending of the first movie, and if you like recaps and flashbacks, well, you're in luck. This film's got a lot of them. It's one of the things that slows down the pace a bit, but at least most of it is new footage filmed specifically for this movie. We're not watching the same exact stuff all over again. 27 years later, boyfriends Don and Adrian are enjoying a dairy carnival and all the fun prizes they can win there.
Never been a fan of the beaver, but look at this hat.
Unfortunately, a group of violent and hormonal homophobes see them and follow the couple to a bridge. Heads up, this is a very graphic and uncomfortable scene, so, don't watch if you don't want to. Because these bullies don't just beat these innocent dudes up, they fucking brutalize them, man. And it doesn't help that you've got that little shit laughing the whole time, too.
Look what you did to his fucking face!
The assailants dump Adrian's body into the river, then run off to get in line for the tilt-a-whirl. As Don makes his way down to save his boyfriend, Adrian starts swimming towards the only figure he can see nearby. What is that thing? Oh, just your average run-of-the-mill riverbank clown. Pennywise stares across the river at Don before he grows some fangs and chomps into Adrian's side. What would that be, a life steak? Don cries in horror as Nina starts singing about nuclear war or whatever, and Pennywise disappears. Our sleepy part-time narrator for the film is Mike Hanlon, who still lives in Derry and who is played by Isaiah Mustafa, who had his final audition for the role on his wedding day. You got the part and the wife the same day. Way to go, man. When he's not too busy turning tickets into diamonds, Mike's checking out crime scenes, learning that a reunion party is being planned for all his friends. Because Mike here...
Oh my god.
Bill Denbrough, played by James the Split McAvoy, is now an author living in California, where his latest book is being turned into a Warner Brothers movie starring his wife Audra, who's played by Jess Weixler of Tea. Too bad she and the movie's director, actual filmmaker Peter Bogdanovich, thinks that Bill is bad at writing endings.
You said you liked the ending. That was a lie.
It's a running joke
That was a lie.
of the movie that evokes the most common criticism of Stephen King's stories, since Bill is, after all, a Stephen King stand-in. Eddie Casbratt, played by James Ransell, lives in New York City and works for an insurance company. He's married to a woman who's so reminiscent of his mother, she's actually played by the same actor, Molly Atkinson.
I love you, Mom.
What? Stanley Uris, played by Andy Bean, is also married and very comfortable as an accounting firm partner in Atlanta, Georgia, while Ben Hanscom is a bachelor architect and is introduced with a fun little fake out. Because at first, you might think this dude in the boardroom is Ben, and you'd be forgiven for thinking that too, since this guy is Brandon Crane, who played young Ben in the 1990 miniseries. But no, our Ben is this hottie hot-hot Skyping in from home, played by New Zealand actor Jay Ryan. Rounding out the losers are Bill Hader as Amy Tozier, a successful stand-up in Chicago, and Jessica Chastain as Beverly Marsh, a big-time fashion designer in New York. Hader and Chastain were both pretty much cast being made. I mean, Finn Wolfhard asked specifically for Hader himself.
That asshole Finn decided to throw my name in the mix.
And Jessica Chastain had been friends with the Muschettis for a while, having starred in their 2013 horror film, Mama. It was actually really fun to see this clip in the Summers of It documentaries.
I can record it, so in posterity, if it ever happens, it will be recorded that we would like for Chastain to play Beverly as the adult. This is something you can pull when we get it.
Although Beth no longer has to live with her abusive, douchey father, it looks like she married an abusive, douchey husband in his stead. Mike calls all of these losers in turn, and although none of them remember their childhoods in Derry, he asks them to
Come
come
on,
back.
so it's been like 10 minutes. More, boy, like 20.
Oh, and a symbolic divorce. Good for her. Of course, the most severe reaction comes from Stan, who can't bear to keep the promise he made all those years ago. So instead, he kills himself in the bathtub by splitting his wrists with a razor. It's a sad moment, obviously, but a bit more subdued than how they did it in the miniseries. Looks like they did shoot him writing it on the wall in his blood, but I guess they cut it from the final film. That's all fine, but I just wish his wife still did a crazy scream. After Mike finishes lighting the beacons of Derry, we go back in time again to show that Henry Bowers survived his plunge down the Neville as well. Which, gotta point out, validates the way I handled it 2 years ago. The movie leaves newcomers thinking Henry is dead, but I think he'll be back, because it would be a drastic change from the source material to not have him in part 2. Damn, Past James, slow the fuck down though. Also, Henry pops out of the sewer alongside a bunch of soggy dead kid bodies.
Give me.
I'm not gonna count them right now.
Come on.
Henry was arrested for murdering his father Butch, so he's spent the past 27 years in a psych ward. Adult Henry is played by Peach Grant, who was the only good part of that bullshit Leprechaun Origins bullshit. Grant does a great job mimicking Nicholas Hamilton's mannerisms as the character, which is also the case for all of the adult cast. They were all very serious about capturing the character as portrayed by the younger cast members.
We were the ones who were hoping we did well, but now and everyone else, like the adult versions, are coming to us and saying we hope we do well for you.
I wanted them to like me so bad.
It helped that at the end of the first film's production, the kid actors all wrote letters in character to their older selves. That's some nice pre-made role prep, you know? Henry Bowers gets a visit from zombie Patrick Hockstetter, a change from the miniseries' Zombie Belch, which was itself a change from the book's Zombie Bit. What a wonderful variety of zombie trees usually aren't allowed. The losers all head to Jade of the Orient, the finest Chinese restaurant in the culinary capital of Derry, Maine. Hugs are exchanged, some more sexually charged than others, and self-deprecating jokes are made.
You two look amazing. What the fuck happened to me?
Although there are some hilarious moments of awkwardness,
Look at these guys.
it's alright. They have a good time, because it's alright. They're best friends again in no time, hailing around and making mama jokes at each other.
She'll put her arm around me and she'll whisper to me.
And to no one's surprise, that bit was improvised by Bill Hader. In addition to Hatice, the out-of-town losers are also starting to remember things from their childhood again. Hell, even Bill Stutter makes a minor comeback. Of course, Mike has never forgotten anything since he never left Gary. So after the gang finally remembers Pennywise, Mike tells them that he's back again. In fact, it returns to Derry every 27 years as a sort of evil echo. He reminds them of both things to come back if it ever
360. Give that 360.
Ben notices that Stanley's not there, but it's not until their fortune cookies arrive that they find out why. Their one-word fortunes end up spelling out a sentence. Stanley just couldn't cut it. Maybe those words are a coincidence, though, y'all. You can't just be jumping to your cookies have gross little baby bugs in them. Ooh, and bat wings and eyeballs. All right, yeah, maybe something evil is going on here. They beat the shit out of the table, then try to leave, and they should be all right as long as Richie doesn't mistake any minor fans for Pennywise on their way out. Fuck you, all right? Oof, maybe next time. They call Stanley's home and find out that he killed himself, and that just does it. They'd all rather get out of Derry.
I'm gonna get like
So everyone leaves to go back to the inn. Everyone but Bill, then, who agrees to hear Mike out. Elsewhere in Derry, at a Little League game, a bored young girl named Vicky follows a magical firefly under the bleachers and into a dark recess, where Pennywise the Clown is waiting for her. She's rightfully afraid of him at first, but Pennywise wins her over in one of my favorite scenes of the movie.
People always make fun because of the way I look.
I love that Bill Skarsgård gets to do some emotional acting instead of just the scary clown stuff.
I can blow that thing right away. You agree? Oh, yes.
To play the role originally made famous by Tim Curry, the producers auditioned 160-something people and chose carefully, knowing that the clown's portrayal would set the tone of the film. In the end, the part went to the person with the most impressive audition, Bill Skarsgård. Skarsgård's depiction of the character took some time to figure out, and it wasn't until he was in full makeup, oh god, I said full makeup, and costume, that he was able to land on Pennywise's specific behaviors. Pennywise's appearance was kept secret from the kid actors to get a genuine reaction in their first scene with him. But after that initial scare, Skarsgård got along real well with them all.
Hey guys, you ready to beat the shit out of me? I can hear you.
And he was always careful to make sure his young scene partners were okay.
You okay? You good, man?
His officially kept from seeing Pennywise. Also, just gotta say, I never get tired of watching Bill Skarsgård in full makeup acting like a normal dude.
That's great.
It really is. Pennywise's new friendship with Vicky just can't overpower his hunger for children. So after luring her close enough, he turns into a scary clown and bites her in the face. He kills her below the bleachers, with none of the adults overhead ever knowing a damn thing. And hey, let's pick up another kill for the count over at the psych ward, where Henry Bowers is now making his escape by killing people like this inmate here. Looks like the guy got his throat slit. Also kind of looks like that Joey dude from Friday 5. Although Henry scares that guard there, we don't see a confirmed kill before we cut to Henry breaking out and getting driven away by zombie Hockstead. Mike takes Bill to the dairy library, where Ben was once leered at by a creepy librarian, and upstairs to his apartment. This motherfucker lives in the library like some literary Quasimodo. Mike gives Bill some water and shows him an artifact that he apparently stole from the fictional Shakapiwa tribe. Oh, and also, you just drugged Bill. So let's go on a magic carpet ride. This Shakapiwa backstory is an invention of the movies, and honestly, a little bit weird. I think the equivalent scene in the book involves the kids doing hallucinogens in a tent, and I guess they replaced that with this. Oh, and flashing lights warning for a moment, because the story that Mike tells Bill is stroverific and full of crazy blue people fighting a legendary Pokemon. Or, sorry, that's another form of it. The vision shows Bill the ritual of Chud, which is not a traditional sermon for cannibal humanoid underground dwellers. Instead, it's a book thing that involves, let's see here, biting its tongue? That can't be right. Mike and Bill head back to the town's inn and stop the other losers from leaving. With Bill backing Mike now, they agree that it's time to shut up or shut up. And since the ritual of Chud is dependent on memory, they have to start back at their absolute favorite place from childhood.
Clubhouse.
Yeah, the clubhouse. Remember it from the first movie? All that time they spent in the clubhouse? Oh, well, that's okay. They filmed new footage for us. Of course, filming new footage. This and some other flashback scenes, a few of the kids had to be digitally de-aged. I think it was mainly Jeremy Ray Taylor as Ben, Jack Dylan Grazer as Eddie, and definitely Finn Wolfhard as Richie. It's not super noticeable, unless maybe you do some side-by-sides with the first movie. But I guess sometimes their dubbed-over lines sound a little weird.
Hey, Rich, your 10 minutes are up. What are you talking about? The hammock, 10 minutes each was the rule.
According to Andy Muschietti, their physical appearance wasn't the only thing that required adjusting either.
Their behavior changes from 12 to 15, and I had to remind them that they were not 15 in the fiction, they were 12. They would just like come and naturally do a scene and would say, okay, now give me the 12-year-old version of that.
I actually really love that the actors, just like the characters in the movie, had to relive their pasts in order to finish telling the story. That's what we call thematic resonance. This flashback and the game's super iconic clubhouse also reminds us all that Stanley Uris fucking loved his shower caps. Man, he was always cleaning stuff with that shower cap on, right? No? Not at all in the first movies? Oh well. The adult losers still say that this dirty shower cap right here is a suitable emotional stand-in for their dead stuffy friend. It's one of 7 items they'll need if they want to be Elmer Chud. 7 items for the 7 of them, since each must sacrifice an artifact from their past. To find them, they have to split up, since they had separated 27 years ago after that fight they had stemming from their first Neibold House adventure. This kicks off a series of fetch quests known as the Walking Tour, wherein each loser has to revisit their past to find their tokens. Well, all of them but Mike. He doesn't get a segment. Bev is up first. She visits her childhood apartment to find an elderly woman by the name of Mrs. Kirsch living there. Kirsch tells Bev that her father passed away some time ago. But note that that happened in between movies, kind of outside the story. So I'm not going to count it in this movie, and I'll once again note that I was right not to include him the first time around, since he didn't die from that toilet tank lid. Bev steps inside for tea at Mrs. Kirsch's insistence, and while it's being prepared, she goes to her old room and cracks open a piece of that molding. Roach air! Inside the wall, she finds an old stash of cigarettes and the postcard poem given to her by Ben, January Ember. My heart burns there too. Oh, that's nice. Do you like poetry, Mrs. Kirsch? Oh, never mind, she gone. Bev has a creepy spot of tea with Mrs.
Kirsch in a scene that was basically released as a trailer. Also, Chelsea and I got to reenact this scene with actor Joan Gregson at a Warner Brothers event.
Are you Daddy's little girl too? Yeah. Good. I'm glad to hear that.
She was both lovely and creepy, and she even did the unnerving stare at me. It was great. Eventually, Mrs. Kirsch derobes and turns into a big naked monster. Rah, rah, rah. I'm not a big fan of the continued use of CG monsters in these movies, but I will say I like those neck mounts. Before Bev leaves, she sees Pennywise in its human form without the clown makeup on. It's more good stuff from Skarsgård as he tells Bev it's useless to fight it. She finally runs out and her segment ends. Damn, we got how many more of these things? On to Richie, who finds his token in the old abandoned movie theater. Turns out his token is a token. Who'da thunk it? He has a flashback to a time when he almost made a new friend, until the kid was scared away by Richie's overeagerness and the fact that his cousin was Henry Bowers, who just walked in with his bully buds, Belch and Vic. Since this is the only time we see him in this movie, I just want to mention that the actors who play the bullies are the nicest fucking dudes. Nick Hamilton and Jake Sim especially are super friendly and down to earth. And I love how on the set of the first film, just like how Skarsgård did, they always made sure the actors playing the losers were comfortable and felt safe after each take. Much nicer than their characters, who call Richie a gay slur until he runs away. In the Derry Town Square, young Richie was then yelled at and chased by an animated Paul Bunyan statue, which might be my favorite special effect in the film. Young Richie was able to will the scary monster away, but old Richie can't stop himself from seeing Pennywise atop the lumberjack. And this balloon-floating bastard says he knows something private about Richie.
I know your secret, your dirty little secret.
I wish his secret had been set up in the first film, but before we can think too much about it, Richie runs away and leaves Pennywise's face to melt in peace. Bill's lonely travels take him to a pawn shop where his bike Silver is on display in the window. To get the bike, he has to haggle with the owner, who's played by none other than Stephen King himself. Andy Muschietti just asked King if he wanted to do a cameo, and King agreed to do it despite some reservations about his own thespian abilities.
I'm not much of an actor.
Hey, don't count yourself short, Steve. Jordy Barrel's a goddamn treasure. Although his cameo may pull people out of the movie a bit, it is pretty funny. And in the end, King was happy with his performance.
I am now in my mind writing my Oscar acceptance speech.
King fleeces Bill for the bike, since he's a big fancy rider, and even pokes fun at himself when he gives Bill some book feedback.
I didn't like the ending.
With Silver properly saddled again, Bill pedals his heart out all the way to the sewer entrance where his little brother Georgie was killed. In a flashback, he remembers a time when Pennywise's disembodied voice blamed him for Georgie's death, touching on a guilt that was established in the first movie, so that one rings true. Adult Bill sees in the sewer a paper boat in his brother's hands, but then there's another hand, and then a bunch of tiny baby hands, and now they're all getting handsy with Bill. Ew! Could someone please give this guy a hand with all this? He gets away with his arm intact, and the paper boat in his hand, only to find that kid from the Jade Orient staring at him. Bill warns the little boy to stay away from the sewer, and when the kid mentions hearing clown voices in his tub drain, well, boy, oh boy, does that set Billy off. Yo, dude, chill.
No.
You don't know this kid.
Do you understand?
I understand you about to get arrested there, Bill. Better let that kid go and not have such a cowman. Ben's vignette sees him go to the high school where he once took a summer class in a room with a turtle on the desk. And if you got excited about seeing a turtle, knowing how it ties into the novel, you're not the only one.
Dude, aren't you gonna see a turtle in this movie? In this game? Dude, there's a turtle scene in this movie.
It's a sign!
Ben relives a time when he was alone in the classroom with Beverly, who he's had a crush on since first sight. He finally went for it there, and things didn't exactly go well.
Oh my god. You actually thought I could like someone as fat and gross and disgusting like you?
Well, that's not nice. Come on, quit flaming the kid, Bev. Oh, I can see how that might be a little difficult for you. It's kind of ridiculous, but I like Scary Firehead Bev. Anyway, Ben's token is his yearbook page signed by Bev, which is actually something he's always held on to, as we saw in his introductory scene. Then, when back at the inn, Bev tells him she thinks Bill wrote the postcard poem for her. Before Ben can correct her, Richie gets back and says that he's leaving. While Ben tends to Richie, we get Eddie's vignette, which includes a background cameo by director Andy Muschietti as Eddie goes to pick up an inhaler from his pharmacist, Dr. So-and-so. He has the most monster flick sequence of the movie in a flashback that shows him in the basement of the pharmacy. He heard his mom yelling down there and found her tied to a stretcher with a chained up being slowly coming towards her. Oh my god, is that a ghost? No, it's the Neibolt House leper who scared Eddie in the first movie. It scares him again so much that he abandons his mom and lets the monster French kiss her. Ew! Now, as an adult, Eddie's down in the basement again, ready to see if his mom's still stuck on that stretcher. She's not, but the leper's still there. And after it grabs Eddie by the face, this happens. Nah, man, I don't have any idea what that was. And honestly, I feel like it's one of a few moments in this movie that breaks the tension in a bad way. I will say, they had an impressive vomit budget, though.
Dude, that was not gonna stop. That was like bumming him and 6 of his friends.
Eddie gets back to the inn, followed by Bill, who has a lovey-dovey moment with Beth. First, they remember their childhood kiss, and then they reenact it. Bill, you got a wife, dude. Jess Weitzler, remember?
Fuck you, Bill.
Before the infidelity can continue, Bill and Bev are skateboard scared with cool anti-gravity blood effects. Bill gets the message that skateboard kid from the Jade Orient is in danger. Determined not to let him die like Georgie did, he takes off for the Dairy Fair, out into the dairy air. Richie is also on his way out, totally done with this shit, and as he leaves, he fails to notice Hochstetter's idling car, which heralds Henry Bowers' return to the movie.
It's your time, Eddie.
Oh shit, a cheek stab? Eddie steps away from Henry and Laugh hides himself behind the shower curtain before stabbing Henry in the chest with his own damn knife. By the time Bev and Ben get upstairs and help Eddie, though, Bowers has escaped and is hightailing it back to the Firebird. Bill bikes his ass to the carnival and sees the skateboard kid entering a funhouse. Flashing lights warning again, because Bill follows the kid inside. And although the production design of the funhouse is great, it's also got a lot of intense strobe lights going on. Bill finds Dean, the skateboard kid, but it's too late to help the freaked out youngster, because Pennywise is already licking at the glass to get in. Bill watches helplessly as Pennywise uses that big old clown noggin of his to bang into the funhouse glass until it begins to crack and break. With one last reared up charge, Pennywise breaks through and eats up the skateboard kid in a very bloody mess. Sad to see him go, man. The little dude playing him, Luke Rossler, was very good and funny in the role. Made his kill that much more impactful. Richie's almost out of dairy when he stops at the synagogue and remembers a speech that Stanley gave at his bar mitzvah. It's thematic and touching and plays over a montage of moments from when the losers were still kids. Make sure you spot that Richie one. It'll come back in the end and get ya. The scene almost feels like a denouement, and it probably would be in any other movie, because we're an hour 50 in here. But not you in Chapter 2. We've still got an hour left of you. Mike waits for the others at the library, and after how his parents were killed in a fire, he's attacked by Henry Bowers, who he slams through a table. My God! Yeah, this ain't Tim Reed you're charging, Bowers. Isaiah Mustafa played football. Still, the bully nearly gets the best of him until he's stopped by a sudden hatchet to the back of his head. Damn, good timing on that return there, Richie.
Guess you could say that was long overdue. Get it? Because we're in a library.
Though you are now contaminating a murder scene, you know. Bill calls the others and tells them he wants to face Pennywise alone, but they intercept him before he can get inside Neibolt House to do it. The house on Neibolt Street is an important location for both films, and after production found the perfect space for it, an empty lot of land at the end of a lonely street, they built the house facade from scratch. One of my favorite details is how the building's face has a sort of smile to it, imitating Pennywise's clown form.
So this whole thing looks like a big maw that is waiting for you to get in and eat you.
The losers don't let the scary house stop them, though, because they made a pledge, damn it, and losers stick together. It's time to go inside that house and finish what they started.
Let's kill this fucking clown.
They enter Neibolt House to kick off the extended third act, which has a whole bunch of spooky stuff, the least of which is some melty stairs. The serious set pieces come when the group is divided. On one side of the door, Bill, Richie, and Eddie watch as a zombie fridge Stanley turns into a reference to my favorite horror movie, John Carpenter's The Thing.
You gotta be fucking kidding.
And on the other side of the door, Bev and Mike have to watch as Ben shows off his glorious abs. Oh, sorry, he's getting a message scratched into that. Come on, Pennywise, you're gonna ruin the abs. Somebody stop him. Whew, thank you, Bev. And the abs are still perfect. The Stanley head thing almost kills Richie, especially since Eddie is too afraid to help at all. But Ben comes to the rescue with some super psycho stabs to save the day. Damn, dude, say Tommy Jarvis much? They regroup and head into the basement and hop on down the well to go splashing around in the sewers. I've always really liked the sewers as the climactic setting of their story. Something about them feels so otherworldly and scary. Maybe it's because I know they get flushed out with toxic waste every night, as taught to me by Jason Takes Manhattan. That's some scary shit, man. The losers wind up in the big chamber, where they previously battled Pennywise beneath a sky of dead kids, and there they approach a porthole that leads to a deeper layer. Mike doesn't know what's on the other side, but that doesn't stop him from climbing down. Eddie tries to bail out, saying he doesn't want to get them all killed, but Richie convinces him to stay with a pep talk.
I'm braver than you think. Thanks, Rich.
With that, everyone follows Mike down. They find themselves in another deeper, bigger chamber, which is actually a hole caused by Pennywise's crash landing on Earth a few million years ago. This has been its home ever since, and looks like it's a fan of takeout. Mike leads everyone to the impact point and takes out his native contraband so they can finally chud it up. He makes a starter fluid fire and everyone presents their artifacts. Bill's paper boat, Eddie's inhaler, Richie's arcade token, Bev's postcard poem, and Ben's yearbook page. Oh, what's that, Bev? Starting to realize some things there? Mike's token is a rock from the rock fight they had, since that was the day he joined the losers. And, anything else? Oh yeah, the shower cap that Stanley was never seen without. It was so him. Such good shit. The final step of all this shutting is to hold hands as scary light sperms start swimming down towards them, and to never stop repeating this phrase. The lights are its true form, I think, and I like them. They seem suitably epic and abstract. They're also pretty powerful. Too powerful to contain in Mike's leather pyramid. A giant red balloon emerges and fills up a whole bunch of space until it violently pops and knocks the losers a little loopy. But did the ritual work, Mike?
Oh, did it work, Mikey?
Something tells me it didn't. Giant Pennywise tells them that the ritual didn't work because it's never worked. The scratched out fourth side of Mike's guidebook there originally showed that the Shakapiwa mother chudders died.
You lied to us again? They didn't believe they could kill him. That's why they could work back then. Are you fucking kidding me, Mike?
And don't try to say I should count the Shakapiwa on the list either, because their tale is clearly a sort of historical legend. They look like glue people here. More flashing lights warning, because now Pennywise is a giant clown spider, and he gets his own light show as he develops claws and tries to kill the losers. It's this kind of huge scale stuff that I really appreciate seeing.
I just want to go home with one.
I also love how they filmed this scene. They used motion capture technology to put Bill Skarsgård's face on the giant clown spider, and I think it was the first thing he shot for this sequel. That meant it was the first time he had to get back in character after being away from Pennywise for nearly 2 years. Luckily, Skarsgård made it easy to jump right back in, and his performance also provided some basis for the monster's movements. Later, on set, the rest of the cast was chased with a giant Pennywise head on a pole, which is pretty fucking hilarious, while Skarsgård delivered his lines live over a loudspeaker.
Oh, waiting for this very moment. And God!
The attack splits the losers up again to give us one more round of individualized experiences. Not Mike again, though. Sorry. Bill swims up through a bunch of water until he's back in his flooded childhood basement. He watches as the ghost of his dead brother Georgie yells at his younger self for letting him die after lying about feeling sick that fateful morning.
You lied and I died!
Things get pretty gooey-faced face, and then Bill symbolically drowns the guilt of his little brother's death. It's a great moment for his character, but less necessary is him shooting Boy Bill in the head and having him morph into your standard scary face. In any case, his mission accomplished, Bill swims back underwater. Bev and Mike find themselves magically thrown down opposite chasms, which lands Bev in the high school bathroom and Ben in their beloved clubhouse. Bev is berated by various bastards of dairy, some of whom deliver ill-advised quotes, "Here's Johnny," before the stall she's in starts filling up with blood. Jessica Chastain was super game to get bloody, and in fact spent 2 weeks on set covered in blood. The blood-filled stall was difficult for both her and the crew shooting the scene, but at least when it was over, she got some comeuppance against the Muschettis. While Bev's in the marshes, blood dunking, Ben's in the middle of a clubhouse cave-in. And what's worse is that he has to deal with Pennywise's heckling the whole time. Fatty loser! Pennywise closes the hatch on Ben, which was actually the very last shot filmed for the movie, which means when Bill Skarsgård closed that clubhouse door, he was also shutting the door on 86 days of production.
And that's a big wrap on It Chapter 2.
Bev and Ben are both just about under the surface when Ben shouts out that he loves her, and here's a poem about it.
Your hair is winter fire! January embers!
His beautiful words give Bev the strength to kick the door down in a totally awesome shot, where it opens into the pit that Ben's inside of. She pulls him up. They say the poem to each other one more time, and Bev finally recognizes Ben's game. But they do not kiss right now, because Bev's face is far too bloody for all that. Finally, Eddie and Richie are chased until they get to a recycled gag from the first movie, with a trio of doors, each different on the scary scale. They try very scary first, which has Betty Ripsom's lower half skipping at them, then not scary, which has a cute little puppy inside. But it turns into a monster and they shut that door again, and that's about it for them. Probably didn't need that whole thing. The once again left out Mike gets grabbed by Big Pennywise, but that attack is stopped by Richie throwing rocks. Richie gets captured by Pennywise's deadlights and probably poops himself a little, before that attack is stopped by Eddie with a metal spear.
Beep, beep, motherfucker!
The spear turns Pennywise into a spider, dragon, Beetlejuice thing, who is then impaled on the edge of his own crash site. But Eddie, you don't actually think you killed it for real, do you?
I think I killed it for real!
Oh, you poor fool. It's a sad moment, as Pennywise uses Eddie's body like a puppet to tease the other losers before tossing him aside. Damn you, Pennywise! They sit Eddie up and get a good look at the bad damage, then make confusing plans based on bullet points from an entry-level science textbook.
All living things must abide by the laws of the shape they inhabit.
They end up deciding that they can, bully Pennywise to death.
There's more than one way to make someone small.
No, I can't believe that he is.
I'm not sure if that's gonna work on this thing, y'all. I am the eater of words. See? He's a goddamn Galactus. But their Comedy Central roast thing actually does work. They call him a weak old woman, an imposter, nothing but a stupid mimic, and their barbs deflate the monster sufficiently until it's crawling away from them in defeat. I mean, I don't know what else to tell y'all. They're just straight up insulting this thing. God, imagine if they had Triumph with them. It eventually grows weak enough to physically attack, and then becomes a sick little pancake-headed feller. This final sequence with Pennywise was a difficult one for Skarsgård to film. Although for some shots they used a kid in a mask to replicate the being's shrunken size, his ultimate form, old Melty Head there, required Skarsgård to be stuffed inside a small hole on set with only his face peering out atop a fake torso. It was a lot of uncomfortable work, but at least it finally revealed what the fuck the Ritual of Chud is.
This is what is known in Stephen King's universe as the Ritual of Chud. And the Ritual of Chud is when you staple intergalactic entity's head to a piece of volcanic... Just like that. It worked.
With its powers all gone, Mike reaches into the being's chest and tears out its scared beating heart. And yeah, I'm putting Pennywise on the kill count. Look at that little face. How could I say no to it? They crush its heart and turn out its lights, and at long last, Pennywise, or it, or Bob Bray, whatever you want to call it, is no more. That's the good news. The bad news is that Eddie's dead too. Damn, after he made it out of the wire alive? I knew this kill was coming, since it happens in the book and the miniseries, but it's still an emotional moment, especially due to Bill Hader's performance, as the others just in time to avoid its implosion into the ground. I've always wondered about the people who live next door there. What's their life like? The losers return to the rock quarry and cliff jump into the water, where they wash off all the clown blood and lament their loss of Eddie. They try to make light and joke around, but Richie, who's usually the funny guy, has no more jokes to make. Yeah, this is when the tears usually start for me. God, I can't stand watching Bill Hader so sad. And then they do a friendship huddle. Oh, fuck, man. After Bev and Ben share an underwater kiss, the losers head back to Derry's Main Street, where they reflect on their past lives and remember the good old days with Eddie and Stan. Well, mostly good old days. They were stuck with Dream Child in theaters. And that movie sucks. Bill finishes writing a new book with an actual passage from Stephen King's novel. Then, after he and Mike share a healthy expression of their friendship,
I love you, man. Love you too.
he reads a letter he's just gotten from Stanley, written before he killed himself. Stanley says he did what he did because he couldn't bring himself to return to Derry, and he knew that his absence would weaken them in their fight against Pennywise. Except not if he was dead, I guess. I don't know, it kind of makes sense. Stanley's voiceover, reading his letter, plays over wrap-up scenes of the rest of the losers, including Bev and Ben on a boat with a pup, and Richie recarving his and Eddie's initials on a fence in Derry. Oh my god, it's so sad! The movie ends with Mike Hamlin finally driving off to leave Derry for the very first time in his life. How many casualties occur when a bunch of losers fight a killer clown from outer space? Let's find out and get to There were 8 deaths in It Chapter 2, with the victims consisting of one little girl, 6 dudes of various ages, and an evil force from space that can shapeshift into whatever.
Come on, Alabama.
With a real beefy runtime of 169 minutes, that left us with a kill on average every 18 minutes.
But we all Alabama.
Chainsaw for coolest kill to the skateboard kid Dean. This whole scene was made up for the movie, and it's a solid little horror short on its own. Damn good blood splatter, too. Go machete for lamest kill is...
I have all day. Tomorrow's no school. I'm sorry, guys. I missed like...
They just bullied it into a baby body. Like I said 40-odd minutes ago when I started this damn video, I want to take a moment to correct
40? Oh, damn.
I already noted that I was right when it came to not counting Henry Bowers, who obviously survived, or Bev's dad, who died. I am going to add Eddie Corcoran to the count. He's shown as missing, and I'm pretty sure his arm is the one we see Pennywise messing around with while Mike is getting bullied. And that brings us to Betty Ripsum, the OG missing kid. I was reluctant to include her because we similarly never see the actual death or her actual corpse. But seeing her split in half in a vision in both the first film and this one is enough to just barely sway me. So Betty, just like Eddie, gets added to the 3 kills I originally counted in Chapter 1, which were Georgie, Patrick Hochstetter, and Butch Bowers. Finally, let's fucking do it. Let's count all the dead kids. Those are legit dead bodies right there, and it was wrong of me not to include them before. Though, in my defense, that was before I established the frame-by-frame counting necessitated by the purge. Anyway, the clearest shot shows, I think, 26 floating bodies. It's really hard to tell, because there's also trash floating around with them, but let's just call it 26. Also, I'm assuming they're the same kids that washed out with Henry Bowers, which is why I didn't include those bodies in this count. For those of you keeping track, that means It Chapter 1 should now have 31 kills, not 3. So go correct your little notebooks or whatever. There, done. A nearly 3-hour-long movie covered in a single kill count. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you're enjoying this holiday season. On Christmas
Better watch it. Better watch it. Better watch it. Oh no, I hate that. I hate that movie. That movie's gonna can suck my dick. I fucking hate them like that guy.
Alright. For attempt, guys.
Time. Alright. Why did I mean that?
Alright. Last one, it was over a month ago. It was the Bill Russell Rebuilding Challenge. I had the best ever attempt tied with my guy 6 Rings of Steel in YouTube in 2K20. So I'm pretty decent at the rebuilding thing. The video also did pretty well itself. It has like 250-some thousand views. And a lot of people have been asking me to return to the rebuilding streets, which I really didn't leave. I've just been doing simulations like 3 times a week. So I decided a good time to do it would be after I just posted 2 back-to-back hour-long videos. So here the hell we go. Some more lighthearted. In 5 minutes, I'm going to make the New York Knicks from the New York Knicks into an actual good basketball team. First off, shout out to Kenny, who's popularized the hell out of this 5-minute rebuilding challenge. Now the catch here is that I'm not just going for 1 season. I can only trade for 5 minutes, but I don't think anybody's ever done this in a 5-minute rebuilding challenge. I'm not just going to go past this season. I'm going to go for another 2. But I can't trade after the 5 minutes. Going past this season is going to be just completely automated. I want to see if the team that I built can actually be a legitimate dynasty for multiple seasons, like an actual, NBA dynasty. So yeah, that's kind of it. Once I do my first trade, you're going to see a timer pop up on the screen. Before I discuss my actual quote-unquote strategy for this video, shout out to my guy Toasted Waffle, who said I was microwaving my Cheerios when you reminded me to like. Alright, yeah, if you like the videos, you can like the videos like Toasted Waffle. It's really that simple. Now, I haven't done one of these 5-minute rebuilds since last August, but I found my most success when I got a few players who can actually play make the hell out of the basketball, if that makes any sense at all. And the main guy to do that is Chris Paul, for God's sake. So, to kick this off, I really just want Chris Paul. I'm not going to sit here, I don't feel like sitting here trying to construct a trade for someone incredible for 10 minutes. I mean, Chris Paul is incredible. For God's sake, get rid of him. Is now up. Thank you very much, Oklahoma City. Now, my main goals here is that I want to get rid of all these bum players, so flip all the trash players. Sorry, Ignis Brazdeikis. For some decent players, like thank you very much, Pirtle. And aside from that, I don't want to screw up and have any picks left once this is done and over, so I want to trade my picks as well. Sorry, Frank, I know you're my guy, but yeah, no, not this time around. Nemanja Bjelica and Bogdan? Yeah, sure. We're going from the bottom to top. Kevin Knox and Reggie Bullock, get the hell out of here. Kelly Oubre and Aaron, that's beautiful. I'll take that. Now, look, put a little pick here. Give me in the trade with Kelly Oubre. Let's trade some. Let's change the position so we get some. Thank you very much. 81 overall, 77 overall, 75.
You know,
Get the hell out of here. Actually,
tired of doing this for almost 2 hours.
Oh my, give me this. Sorry, RJ. Yeah, no, I'm taking Shea every day. So Shea is an 84. Danilo goes up to an 85. Danilo, I'm not really trying to have you.
It's
be
a
honest.
bum.
You go with Aaron Baines real quick. Clint Capella's cool. Clint Capella's just solid enough to the point where actually no, maybe not. That's not smart. Alonzo Trier, Kelly. Oh, we get Zach LaVine. Hold on, that might be the move. Yeah, no, I think we'll go with the DeMontis Sabonis and TJ Warren one. We still got 2 minutes left. Bogdan and Elfrid Payton for Clint Capella. Thank you very much. I've been looking with rotational. Okay, yeah, the rotation is beautiful. Actually, yeah, we'll put Sabonis here. So now we got to get some guards off the bench. Javonte Graham, that was offer number 10. We're gonna go back to that one more than likely, right? Luke Kennard, you're cool. Robert Covington, sorry, we know you're 2K notorious for being awful. Yep, there you go. Pirtle and Cody Martin, and now we'll trade another first-round pick. Get these picks out of here. I saw Brandon Clark. That might be too good to resist. Honestly, I know we need some guards. Actually, you know what? Yeah, no, Derek White might be just as good. No, screw it. Give me Brandon Clark. Move Brandon Clark over to the small forward. He should go up, right? Yeah, 82 overall. TJ Warren, you're good there. I just need to get these picks out of here. Look, I saw Grayson Allen shown there at the bottom, along with Travion Graham. So with this, we'll get Dion Waiters, the weed man himself. Brandon Clark, I know I just got you here, but yeah, we got to trade you now, too. I think I saw Dante DiVincenzo. That's a pretty... Oh, Derrick Rose? Yeah, no, give me D-Rose. Give me D-Rose. Give me D-Rose. 36 seconds left. The rotation is probably... It's looking beautiful, honestly. So we're going to have off the bench, we're going to have Mitchell Robinson and Baines as the big men. Actually, I'm pretty... I guess we got to trade Devontae because we need a bigger guard there, but that's about it, honestly. Devontae, Dion, we have another first-round pick. Can we get a bigger guard? I saw DiVincenzo. Bernard is there. I guess we'll rock with DiVincenzo. I'll just trade the pick for the hell of it. We don't really need to, but all right, there you go. And last thing, I don't care if the timer goes out. David Fizdale, get the hell out of here. And welcome to town, Jacob Underwood. This team is beautiful. I'll switch Mitchell Robinson back to his center. So we're going to rock with Chris Paul, DiVincenzo. DiVincenzo, he's starting. He's starting over. Actually, that might be all right. Yeah, we locked down every single position. I'm fine with Baines at power forward, even though he's 6 foot. Well, yeah, he's only 6'10". Plus, you see that 3-point shot, pristine. Didn't that man hit like 10 threes in a game? I think it was 9. All right, cool. The rotation looks good to me. Chris Paul, Shea, Danilo, Sabonis, Clint Capella, D Rose, Mitchell Robinson, T.J. Warren, Aaron Baines, and DiVincenzo. Honestly, I trade pretty recklessly. I really don't keep track of positions when I'm trading for the most part until like the last minute. So I did pretty well considering that. I got the guy Jacob Underwood running the show. I know it's not his forte. We'll probably want to run with a different system here. Yeah, we'll go with 7 seconds. It's our best one. It's only 3.5 stars, but I don't care. We're gonna rock with it anyways. So yeah, like just looking at the trade finder here, like we kind of just got the best tier of players. Like we got the best 85 overalls you could really get. Oh boy, you trying to trade Shea, Mitchell Robinson for Kevin Knox and Frank Commit? No, we weren't. Yeah, I'm confident in it. Knicks moved Devontae Graham to Bucks for Dante DiVincenzo. You don't even see trades this stupid in 2K. I'd block this man if I could. And we got rid of every pick except for 1 second. So yeah, success. Season number 1. We have not lost it. We just lost the game as I said that. I'll just manually fix the roster and sign some bums because I'm not trying to cheat. Welcome Kalen Lucas. Hey Jared Uthoff, how you feeling? Want a ring? RJ Hunter used to be like kind of good at shooting and then you fell off, I guess, like every other player that's ever fell off. Yeah, so far we're 8-1 and Shea. Okay, Shea. I had a weird feeling that he was gonna have bad tendencies, but I guess they fixed him. I don't know. Wait, hold on. What was Dante DiVincenzo? 2-way tempo pusher. Yeah, that's definitely what I want to be described as. Imagine working your whole life to make it. No, I don't want this trade. Imagine working your whole life to make it to the NBA just to be called a 2-way tempo pusher. Yeah, get back to the G League. Yeah, we're 40-8. Hey, we got any All-Stars? Okay, Chris Paul is a starter. I think that's it, though. I'm not that surprised. Chris Paul, you king. The man is averaging 19 and 10 a game. What did I tell you about this guy? Gotta love this guy. He's even 4th in the MVP race. D Rose is 2nd and 6th man of the year. Shea is 5th in most improved. I don't know what I did, but I did something.
I'm so bored.
Calm down. It's not this serious. We just need a wait. Whoa. Okay, no, don't calm. You lost 4 straight games. Hello, LeBron. You can have the MVP. Wait, where is Giannis? Did he disintegrate? I don't know the last time I saw LeBron win an MVP. I probably saw it last video and I'm just stupid. Congrats, Ja. Or known as J.A. Moore in the flight dictionary. Well, no D Rose 6th man of the year, but it's fine. Congrats, Yusuf Nurkic. I probably should have got Yusuf Nurkic. Giannis, good job. Luka, most improved. Not surprised. And Jacob Underwood, coach of the year with 65. Beautiful. Fantastic. Any New York Knicks up here? Yeah, Chris Paul, 3rd team. Well, obviously the 1st seed. Hey, Orlando. Give less minutes to Chris Paul, more to Aaron Baines. No. All right, don't lose. We just wait. First of all, I didn't realize I had to jump in because the score was 95-94. But we lost the 1st game. Okay, cool. We won the 2nd game. Derek, thank you. We needed those. 3rd game. Cool. We got another win. Wait, D Rose is balling. D Rose just had 30 and 9. MVP. Okay, great. All right, cool. We're gonna win this series. I know it's not over yet, but I'm confident. Thank you very much, Orlando. You gave us a great scare in the 1st game of winning by 1 point or something like that. But yeah, it's over. So far, we're getting some Derek dominance. It's beautiful to see. Now Boston. They're a pretty good team. They got the Jason Tatum guy and Daniel Tice. But you know, I'm gonna trust in Derrick Rose here. Okay, so far so good. We won game 1. Chris Paul. Oh my God. 31-9 on 10 for 10. Yeah. Just move on. 2nd game. Whoa, it's close. I want to see the team in prime time action. Honestly, I wanted to see us playing, but then we just blew them out in the last couple seconds. So yeah, there you go. Derek, my God, I'm so happy I got you like last second. And the 3rd game is another win. Shea dropped 36. This guy's probably like a top 5 favorite player of mine in the NBA. He's just the king. Have you ever seen the way that Shea layups the ball? It looks like he's never trying, and it works perfectly every time. Yeah, we lost the next game. 5th game. We just need 1 more. You know, don't blow a 3-0 lead, please. Okay, cool. We did it. No, we didn't blow a 3-0. We got past them. And now it's Toronto, Philadelphia. Hopefully, Kawhi's not on the Raptors. Hey, OG. I thought it said OG 91 overall for a second. I wouldn't have been surprised. Marc Gasol versus Clint Capella, the match for the century. Didn't they have like a Zion cam at Duke? They should have one for Clint Capella. That'd be great. It's kind of close, but it's not really that close. But it's still kind of close. But it's not really that close. But it's kind of close. All right, it should be over. Hopefully, good, great. It's over. Game 2.
I'm gonna stop the stream because like it's boring as fuck. So yeah.